This is Justin AMZN on Friday, April 9th, 2021. So I named yesterday's video, Thursday's video, something like only one bearish candle with the idea that we might not get another one. Like it might just continue going up. And sure enough, we did. We gapped up and I mean, had a really good run up right into this line. I had just moved this line yesterday and this was the resistance we ran into, came right back into the 21, kind of squeezing here and popped and just continued running up. This is incredible. We went completely sideways here for like an hour and then popped up right into this line. Like this line has been here since December and we stopped cold right on this line. Came back. This is where some bears were coming in, trying to push this lower. Doesn't even come down to this line and then just runs up and closes above here at the end of the day. Just a phenomenal continuation of a bullish move. Yesterday was the rest, and it just continued going. So even early today, there were some opportunities to get in to the 3350 call very inexpensively. You could have been buying it down here at 2, stop at 1. Right out the gate, you could have been buying it for even less. It was put on a low of 1.1. That's almost an absolute zero at the beginning of the day. Obviously, you don't know that it's going to have this kind of a run, but the fact that it gapped up, put a Morningstar reversal in right out the gate, and then it just didn't roll over. I mean, it didn't get below the 21 until it actually ran into some resistance, and then it still closed above that resistance. Like, this looks like it could just keep on running. I mean, there's a lot of bears down here that are trapped, that are, we're starting to trap some of these bears. Like we actually closed. Like, look at where the close is. We closed above all of these candles except for these two. These two, I'm sorry, this close was lower, but we haven't closed above these two candles. We've closed above just barely. Oh, we're almost to that one. No, where is that? The high was 33.77. Okay, so we have a tiny bit more to go, 33.77 than that one. So I'm going to zoom out. Yeah, I have to zoom out and then I'll zoom back in. So this was bigger picture. So yeah, I mean, this is why this line has been in here for so long, because this was working as really good resistance. We're right at this level of like, is this going to continue to be resistance, or are we going to potentially continue to push back up, into the high, the all-time high? Let's see if we can connect these. I haven't even done this on the daily. Is there a way to connect closes maybe? I just connect those two. Look at that, that lines up really well. So maybe that's a new angle. And, maybe we'll push above that, maybe not. I don't know, but it's just continuing to go bullish. So I don't know if that's going to hold or not. We even closed above this resistance. Yes, barely above it. We'll see if we can get a little more of a retest. It'd be really nice to pull back a little bit. But we just keep doing S curves, and these S curves are relatively flat. I mean, this doesn't really curve down. Like I would picture an S curve, doing something like this. We actually have a curve down, something where I don't like the second line, Drew. There's a curve and it goes back up and then it curves like by it right here. Well, it's not doing that. It's not coming down that far. It's going flat right through here, and it's going flat right through here. So we got to be ready to buy there. So even while this was going sideways, you get some really nice base all through here. You could just about be buying it at 10. It pushed down a little bit lower, so probably buying at 9.50. And then this candle comes in. This candle has less than $1 range, but it drops below 9, which if you had done, gotten in at 10 and a stop at 9, you would have been out. And then it would have run without you. But even this much later in the day, you still could have been buying here and let's say you got in at 9.50. Let's say you had an order for 10 and it didn't fill, or as this candle is closing, you submit the order and it fills right here on this candle, because you still had a few seconds probably before it started to run. Getting in at 10, target at 18, 8 hours for a Friday. Same kind of trade would have worked, getting in at 2 and a target at 10. Could have done that twice. And then later in the day, because it's in the money, because it's starting to bounce at 33.50, it pulled back further. So it pulled back below this low. But there were some opportunities to be buying on these dips just with a different option. So that would have been maybe 33.60, 33.65. I think 33.75 was too far away. Let's take a look at that one. Because that ended out of the money. Yeah, it didn't really bounce. You could have scalped something. Could have gotten in at one and just scalped and gotten out for a little bit. 33.70, which we did end up closing in the money. So that you could have been buying all day at one. Well, not all day. I mean, bought in the morning at one, and oops, you could have bought it in the morning at one and bought again later at one and just gotten a couple of R's, maybe 2 R's. 2 R's at least would have worked. I mean, you would have missed out on a bigger move. 33.65, you could have also bought at one, and if you had actually held to get out at 9, that would have been 8 R's. It didn't come back down to one here, but getting in at 2, and that's a really nice, this is a really nice morning star reversal, but you're really speculating to buy, like, with more than $100 risk, getting in like at 2 with a stop at 0. You could do 2 by 1, but why would it stop at 1 if it was going to keep going? Like, it would probably just keep going to 0 if you're wrong, So, I mean, you could still do 2 by 1 and just be wrong if it gets down to 1. 33.60. Oops. What is this one doing? This came down a little lower. So this you could have bought at 1 earlier in the day, and that ran up to 9 much more easily. Good volume today. Pretty good volume yesterday. So 33.60 was viable. Put in a $100 candle. Nice hammer here. So this one you could have been getting in like 3 by 2 over here. That would have been really coming all the way down to some resistance. So I do like that. So yeah, there are some other options. I mean, when the 33.50 gets too expensive that much later in the day, too expensive in that you can't get a clean $100 risk, go further out of the money, And then nothing really was recovering on the put. You could see there was a little bit here later in the day where it started to bounce a little bit. This was just running off the resistance, bears loading up, and it just didn't work. I mean, it started running here, and that was really it. Came back down to the same level. Some more bears got in, put in a little bit of a higher move. You can see more people were buying or selling. It turned out to be a bearish candle, but there was some decent volume here. But that was it. Rolled back down to be worth nothing at the end of the day. 33.50 put. So yeah, like just another really great bullish day. And I'm still seeing, like, even just what I've got on the 5-minute here, this being resistance, this line not quite, capturing what's happening. But if we draw another line in, so we're getting a different angle in here, it's obviously more steep. But if we just, we connect, can just about connect some of these lows. So from here, almost touches here, and then right back into here. So this whole shape is a bigger triangle. That's all I'm trying to say. Today, we got, that's supposed to be a triangle. So it's obviously going slower. So we have a bigger move, we go sideways, or, pull back a tiny bit, move up, a little bit bigger move. It just, these are just waves. It's going up just really gently, really slowly as the day goes on. So later in the day, we had a much smaller move than earlier in the day. And it's just going to have this, kind of triangle shape to it. And we'll see if we continue to break out, because we just keep making these kinds of either a wedge a few days ago or a triangle. We're just, continuing to move on up slowly. So today was a really nice bullish day that trapped more bears. And we'll continue to look for those to happen. So hope this helps. This is just AMZN. Thanks.